Imagine this, a 270-kilometer hiking trail weaving its way through the absolutely stunning Stockholm Archipelago. I mean, it sounds like a dream for anyone who loves the outdoors, right? But what if the digital guide for this beautiful path is less of a helping hand and more of a trap? Today we're going to follow the money and see just where this trail leads.
First, let's just look at this number. Almost 7 million Swedish krona. That's a pretty significant chunk of public money, co-funded by the Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth and the European Union. So the big question is pretty obvious. What did the taxpayers actually get for this investment? So this money was specifically for creating the Stockholm Archipelago Trail, and we're talking about a massive project here, a continuous hiking path stretching all the way from Arholma in the north down to Landsort in the south. The whole idea was to create a world-class attraction. All right, so let's start by looking at the official vision. The grand promise that was sold to the public and to the people funding it.
And you can't deny the ambition here is huge. The vision was for this totally unique, long-distance trail where you could island hop across 20 beautiful spots in the archipelago, all connected by public ferries. It's a fantastic concept, right? Designed to boost tourism and make nature super accessible. This is the dream. But here's where that dream runs into a pretty harsh reality. Because behind all the beautiful photos and the marketing slogans, critics are pointing to what they call a digital trap, a system that's just failing to deliver the essential information that hikers actually need out on the trail.
This quote, from an analysis of the project, really just cuts right to the heart of the problem. Instead of some integrated, helpful digital ecosystem, the information is scattered all over the place. It's locked away in what are called data silos, it's mostly only in Swedish, and there's no clear system for keeping any of it up to date.
So what even is a data silo? Well, think of it like this. Imagine you've built this amazing library, but instead of putting all the books on shelves with a clear catalog, you've locked every single book in its own separate, unmarked box. The information is technically there, sure, but it's almost impossible to find, connect, or use in any effective way. And that's exactly the problem here.
Which brings us right back to that 7 million krona question. With all that public funding poured into this, what specific, tangible things are actually missing from the project's delivery and from its digital footprint? Okay, so now let's actually follow the data trail, or maybe in this case, the lack of one, to see exactly what was promised versus what's actually been delivered. The funding application was really specific. It said it would deliver physical infrastructure, including 11 shelters and 8 barbecue pits. But when open data analysts tried to find them, they were pretty much unaccounted for in any accessible digital format. So where are they? A hiker has no easy way of knowing. And it's the exact same story with the information signs. The project was funded to produce 135 of them, but on-the-ground checks and digital audits can only locate about 80. So again, there's this major gap between the funding request and the verifiable outcome, with no open data to actually track the delivery. And this map just brilliantly illustrates the core issue. This was created by volunteers using open data from OpenStreetMap, and it shows where toilets are located along the trail. The official project doesn't provide this kind of dynamic, easy-to-use map. It also lacks real-time status updates, like is a toilet open or closed for the season? For a hiker, that's pretty essential information. Same deal for drinking water. This prototype map shows where you might find water, but the really critical piece of information is missing. Is the tap even turned on? Has the water been tested? The official digital presence for the trail just doesn't answer these basic vital questions in a reliable, data-driven way. And this problem just gets bigger when you look at accessibility. This map is trying to find trail features tagged with wheelchair accessibility in OpenStreetMap. And as you can see, the data is sparse, it's incomplete. Look, for a multi-million krona public project in the 21st century, providing detailed accessibility data isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a fundamental requirement. So it's pretty clear the digital infrastructure is failing its users. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. There is a much, much smarter and more effective path forward. This slide just perfectly lays out the two approaches. The current way is, well, it's stuck in the past. You've got static PDFs, random social media posts, and all that data locked in those silos we talked about. The data-driven way is all about creating an ecosystem. It's API first, which means data can be shared easily.
It's open, it's multilingual, and it provides information in real time. So what on earth is an API? Well, simply put, it's like a messenger that lets different software applications talk to each other. An API for the trail would mean that information, like, say, a ferry schedule or a closed-off section, could be automatically updated and shared with tons of different apps like Google Maps, websites, and services for tourists. And this isn't some crazy all-or-nothing switch. This hiking data maturity model shows there's a clear roadmap. You start with the basics, making data open at level 1. Then you build on that, and eventually you can reach level 5, a fully automated, API-driven ecosystem. There's a clear path to get this right. So why does all this technical detail about one hiking trail actually matter? Because this isn't just about finding a toilet in the woods. This is really a case study for a much bigger issue: how our governments handle public information in the digital age. Let's just zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. You see, this failure to properly manage and open up data isn't unique to the Stockholm Archipelago Trail. It actually reflects a systemic challenge in how public projects handle the digital assets they create. This is fundamentally about government transparency and strategy, not just in Sweden, but at a European level. And look, this isn't just some activist pipe dream. A 2019 EU directive and reports from the Swedish government have already identified geospatial data and mobility, which is exactly the kind of data a hiking trail produces, as high-value categories that should be made open for public reuse. The official policy is already pointing in this direction. And the benefits of getting this right are enormous. Just imagine getting real-time alerts about trail conditions right on your phone. Imagine all that information being instantly available in your native language. Third-party developers could build incredible new apps for hikers. And maybe most importantly, it creates accountability. We can see exactly what our public money has paid for. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty simple question. We use public money to create these wonderful public resources, like hiking trails. So doesn't it just make sense that the essential data about these resources should also be public, open, and accessible to everyone?